Arsenal is readying for a visit to West Ham United, but Arsene Wenger's mind took a detour to Japan. In a wide-ranging pre-match interview touching on Mesut Ozil, Olivier Giroud, and the Manchester Tunnel Fracas TM, it was the last topic that had Wenger musing on the post-match actions of sumo wrestlers. More Premier League Tuesday preview for those who missed it. There was an alleged dust-up between Manchester City and Manchester United after Jose Mourinho and his men objected to boisterous City celebrations in the away locker room on Sunday. Ever the politician, the rail-thin manager called upon rather large athletes to make the point of what he'd like to see. From Sky Sports, "It happened to us, it's happened to them. It's unfortunate. Ideally you would commit 100% on the pitch and be an angel after. It's not always the case. You want to keep that passion on the pitch. It is difficult to take when you lose a game, to see the celebration. When I was in Japan, I liked sumo wrestling because you could never tell who had won. The winner never showed his happiness as there's a deep respect for the opponent." Wenger's last managerial stop came in 1996 with Nagoya Grampus 8 in Japan. There was plenty more from Wenger, who was asked about the statuses of Olivier Giroud and Mesut Ozil. For the latter, it's relatively straightforward. There's still no new contract between the playmaker and Arsenal, though no final offer has been made, and Wenger remains optimistic about the hiring. As for Giroud, who's been tipped for a move away from Arsenal for some time, Wenger admits it's tricky. The super sub would start on most teams but is quite valuable to Arsenal as the usual backup to Alexander Lacazette. And it's not like Arsenal has hurt the Frenchman's stock with one of the best international sides in the world. He's a very important player and I have big respect for him. Look how many French caps he has got since he came here. He's not wasted his time. I can understand his frustrations. He's played many games, much more than many speak about. He's played more than Lacazette, for example. When you are at a big club with many strikers, you can't guarantee. Personally, I want him to stay at the club until the end of the season. Then we will see. If Wenger can massage the season out of Giroud and then sell him, Arsenal will have to call it a win. But how different might the Gunners look next August, with Giroud, Ozil, and Alexis Sanchez all expected to be out the door? Follow at Nicolas Mendola. Pep Guardiola's Manchester City have set a new English top-flight record with 15 consecutive wins and, of course, comparisons are already being made as to just how good this City side are. Runaway leaders of the Premier League with an 11-point lead heading into the busy festive period, City are being compared to the great teams in place history. Their winning run means they've accomplished something none of the other great place teams have, and it seems like there is no stopping City. Speaking to the media after the 40 win at Swansea on Wednesday, which clinched the record, Guardiola praised his players for breaking the record but also their ability to not only excel when they have the ball but to hunt in packs to win it back. In history, there have been some amazing teams: Liverpool, Manchester United with Sir Alex Ferguson, Chelsea with Jose Mourinho. A lot of good teams, and we are the first ones to win 15 games in a row, Mourinho said. Of course that will not make sense if we do not win the title. If we don't win the title, it will just be a record. This record will be broken, but it will not be easy. When my players don't have the ball, they go to win it like animals. At this level it's so competitive. That means we are strong in the head. Guardiola's team have made the best start in Premier League history to a season with 49 points from their opening 17 games and 16 wins from those matches. They've scored 52 goals, and the duo of David Silva and Kevin De Bruyne are controlling the tempo of each and every game they play in, but not much has been said about the tenacity and City's play to win the ball back. That quality has always been a hallmark of Guardiola's teams at Barcelona and Bayern Munich, with the fabled 6-second rule, mentioned time and time again as he set his players a target of 6 seconds to win back possession of the ball. City did that time and time again against Swansea on Wednesday, with Silva regaining possession on multiple occasions in midfield and releasing the likes of Sterling and Sergio Aguero to attack. There is a lot more behind this ruthless City side than just breaking winning and scoring records. Their extreme hunger for success and doing the dirty work was duly noted by Guardiola. Follow at JPW_NBC Sports Chicago AP. The U.S. Soccer Federation says it received the required 3 letters of nomination for 8 candidates in its presidential election, one fewer than the total of people who announced their intention to run. The USSF is conducting background checks on the candidates whose nominations were received by Tuesday night's deadline. The governing body said the check is to ascertain that a candidate has no conviction or no contest plea to a felony or crime of moral turpitude, and it will announce the candidates late after completing the process. More. Atlanta acquires Nagbe. Sunil Gulati, the USSF president since 2006, decided after the Americans failed to qualify for the World Cup that he will not seek a fourth four-year term. The 9 people who announced they are running include former men's national team players Paul Caligiuri, Eric Winalda and Kyle Martino. U.S. women's goalkeeper Hope Solo, Soccer United marketing president Kathy Carter, USSF vice president Carlos Cordero, Boston lawyer Steve Gans, New York lawyer Michael Winograd and Paul Lapointe, Northeast Conference manager of the United Premier Soccer League. The election will be held in February. Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. AP Gareth Bale scored an 81 minute winner as Real Madrid came from behind to beat Emirates club Al Jazeera 21 on Wednesday and reach the Club World Cup final. Madrid will try to win its third world title in 4 seasons when it faces South American champion Gremio on Saturday. More Premier League weds. Roundup. The match had 2 goals disallowed by video review, 1 for each team. Madrid struggled early and allowed the local league winners to open the scoring with a goal by Brazilian forward Romarinho just before halftime. But Cristiano Ronaldo equalized early in the second half and Bale netted the winner less than a minute after entering the match as a substitute for Karim Benzema. Swansea City manager Paul Clement may have the enduring quote of the season so far when it comes to facing the behemoth that is Manchester City. Recap. City hammer Swansea. The suffering Swans have had their share of poor performances this season. Clement later said January transfer spending is a must if the club wants to stay up, but he's throwing his hands up in the air when it comes to Wednesday's loss at the Liberty Stadium. The man is exasperated and sorry for his team. From the BBC, at times it was horrible to be on the sideline and that, seeing my side trying but suffering for long periods. They're not the games that will decide our season, but it was hard to at times because they were so dominant. For me, one of the best sides I've ever come across. So many good athletes, so many intelligent footballers, and it's really hard to pin them down. We actually had some attempts on their goal, so I'm disappointed we didn't get on the score sheet, but they were a far superior side to us. We've got to put it aside that game. We've got Everton away next and we've got to try and pick something up there. All that's left is for Clement to pick up a clarinet, awkwardly blow into it, then point at Pep Guardiola and say, he's good. Free message board points to the first one to name the reference. Follow at Nicolas Mendela.